Good day, guys. Hope you had an awesome Easter weekend. We had banking or public holidays, on Friday and on Monday. So today is our first trade for the Living Podcast in ages. So Bitcoin is moving up nicely. We've got a nice bullish move here. So let's see what we've got going. So at the moment, the big thing is, or the big question that I have is, I personally feel like this is a take profit zone rather than a wait for more zone. And the reason why I'm saying this is I want this move to be healthy. And in order for this move to be healthy, we need to form into a lateral range first. If we start breaking out from this point onwards and we start running really fast, from a trader in me, that's going to be amazing. We're going to see 100K quickly. But then we're going to see a dump quickly as well. And it means that from an altcoin perspective, and the hope is that we're going to get that alt season, that's then off the table. So, these are things. So let's have a look at the technicals regarding a lateral range. And then we'll look at the technicals regarding, a lateral range in supportive for an alt season. And then we're going to be looking at the what if it just keeps on running, that kind of scenario. And so that we take it level by level as we normally do, and not try and create a fixed narrative of what we think the future should look like. Okay, if you're new to the channel, let me know. Say hi in the comments. And even if you're not watching it live, it's fine. Say hi in the comments. I do reply to the comments. And for the rest of the OGs, let's just quickly say hi to them. Okay, so let's see how many people joining in live. So, hey, where's the comments? What's wrong here? Come on, say hi, guys. Maybe there's something wrong with my StreamYard. I'm not seeing anything at the moment. Peter will bring it up. Okay. Or everybody's still struggling from Easter weekend mind fog. Might be the case. Okay, let's get into this now on a lateral range. So from the longest time, as I've been, if you've been following us, we've been really bearish. Bitcoin has been since February retracing. And at this stage now, it's the first time, if we take away all the setups that we shared and the last long and short. So if we look at this from this point of view, the argument is I'm trying to see whether we're going to create a bullish trend. And in order for us to do that, you almost got to let one go. So I'm saying that this is probably the worst time to be going along, because we'll probably still do something like this. And only then do we really want to go long, because then it's the move that's not going to revisit the lower low. Meaning you're going to buy here, and in a week's time or 2 weeks from now, price will probably be lower from the buy that you're at. And that means that from a swing trader, swing trading means you want to be in something and you want to not see price go above it and ride it for as long as it can until it gives you the out. So the swing trade shorts, we're looking for the next pullback to get out, and then from that to start swinging long for the next long positions going on further. So that's the idea regarding this. Now, the statement that I'm saying why I want to see us lateral ranging is very simple. If we can postpone creating a potential uptrend, meaning on the daily we remain in this channel, the longer that we do stay in this move, the bigger the next move will be. Think of it like this. This time round, we stayed in there from March last year all the way to October last year. And effort versus result, this is one of the Wyckoff laws. There's 3 Wyckoff laws within trading and investing. The longer you accumulate within a range, the bigger the move going to be in the out. So if this is all we get from a lateral point, that the move is going to take us to reach 95 probably, maybe 100. And then it's going to be over. Effort versus result. The effort is always linked to the result. Okay, so and that's the thing. So the longer the run, the better. The longer the run, you can count that as also part of the run, the bigger the move. That's just the nature of it. So effort versus result. So that's why I'm looking at this from a lateral point of view. Let's see what we've got. Yeah, we've got Afi. Hello, Afi. What's up, buddy? What's up? So 103, 106 there. The number keeps on jumping up. People joining in live. And yeah, everybody that's in the market at the moment or sitting in good positions, they're probably celebrating too early. And this is the other part of it. So if we're now looking at this and we're saying, okay, let's say the market's going to run away from us. So we've now explored the idea of lateral range, meaning, we reject, we come back down, we'll build a little bit longer and then start moving. The longer it goes, the better it will be. We don't have any more information on that. But that then means that your altcoins, your Ethereums and all those kind of things, they will be doing good as well, meaning we're already seeing a situation where consistently now for the last few days, every time Bitcoin goes up 1%, ETH does 3%. So alt season is starting, guys. If we look at in this afternoon stream, we're going to be looking at the dominance, everything around that. So, that is good. And for alt season to be successful as well, we need a little bit more of this. That's the just. Okay, so now if we say we're traders and we're trading for a living, and not if we are doing that, we also need to open the possibility to say that what if this thing just shoots up and goes and blows off crazy? How do we enter that? So the 4-hour time frame is the time frame that I would use for that. And the easiest way to then look at this is to try and trade with momentum, meaning you're saying every time the market goes and makes a higher high out of a consolidation. The rule and the setup that you need to use for that is very simple. 50% of the candle that makes the higher high, that's the buy. That's the rule always. So if we look at this structure that we have on the 4-hour, and I've been teaching this now for forever. It's the simplest setup around there. Every time we have a lateral range, you see price leave the range aggressively. The candle that makes the higher high, there's the candle that made the higher high on this move. 50% of that candle's body is normally where you enter. Okay, so I'm just going to put a 50% in. Now, nearest makes no difference. This is the thing about technical analysis. It's if we close there, if we use the entire candle, it would look like I'm a genius. But normally it's the body of the candle, and it's around that area. So the strategy that I use in my Discord is the Strat 2 strategy. And it basically works on 50% of the candle. You start entry 1, entry 2, entry 3. So those would be your 3 entry targets. And then your take profit will be 90,000, 93,700, and 96,500 or 600. Nearest makes no difference. So from a 4-hour point of view, we've had an entry. We're on our way to TP. So what do I want to see then? I don't want to see us come right back. So retracing at the moment from a trading point of view is bad. Can I swing trade at the moment? No, because this was a swing trade entry. This would have been where you wanted to swing long. I mean, I was on a holiday yesterday. You guys were off as well. So nobody was around to take advantage of that setup unless you were trading aggressively. And the play then would be for you for the rest of today is to switch then to a lower time frame, like a 15-minute, and say, okay, right, I'm looking for the market to give me an entry somewhere within this range to try and drive price to at least 90. So it's going to be a scalping market, a scalp long market for us for today. And the easiest way to then identify scalp longs is to say, okay, right, what do we have at the moment? There was a clear pivot created on price action right there. So let's mark that candle line there, and we'll mark that as the thou shall not cross pivot. And what we are seeing in the moment on the 15-minute is that price is making a higher high. So we're getting strong bearish divergence on the 15-minute. And we've got the RSI retracing. Okay. Now, this is a bullish signal. It's not a bearish signal. It is bullish for as long as price stays above that pivot. So all that I'll be doing is I'll be sitting to myself and say, okay, when is the last area of demand? We've had a demand zone there. And where we had another area of demand was right there, demand zone there. So where would people's stops be? Right in that range. So for me, the entry for us to try and get this to 90K would typically be starting at roughly almost where we're at now, maybe a little bit lower. It's basically going to touch that line now. You can almost say right there. And I want to try and get in on this demand, betting that that demand's going to hold. Okay. If the demand fails, we're going to be due for a lower low. And then I would play the hidden bullish divergence, which means we'll be hunting for a setup at around 86. So it's now or never, basically, for the setup. Basically, you're entering now, you're trying to drive this all the way to $90,000 minimum, which would put the swing TP at range. So you can bet that it's going to take a little bit of time to get there. And that's a 8-to-1 risk to reward ratio, meaning if you risk $100 right now to take this setup and it plays out, you'll have $800 worth of gains at that level. That's a good risk to reward ratio, meaning this breakout continuation setups, for every one that plays out, you've got 7 additional tries in the market paid for. And out of those 7, if only a half of them keep on doing this, you're in the money by far. And the others is typically you need to look at this as paying a bill. Any business, anything you're in, there's always going to be expenses and bills that needs to be paid. And that's what a stop is. It's not you losing money. It's you paying a bill for being a day trader. That's the way that I would, almost mentally look at this. Okay. That's everything that I wanted to share with you guys and a little bit more. So we've got a 15-minute setup, which goes against everything that I typically would share on this YouTube channel, because we tend to focus on the 4-hour and the swing, but we missed the move. We were all on Easter weekend breakaway. So we don't have anything. So the only move that we have is the scalp. Now, the danger for this one is, and this is the other side, say it fails, then we want to look to see whether we're going to be picking up some sort of a channel within this range. Because yet again, this thing does remain bullish, funny enough, because every time we go and make a higher high, let's bring our friend the RSI in. Come on, give me that line. The RSI is trending in the opposite direction. So we're in a zone where the market is, everybody is going short and they're getting squeezed. So it keeps on doing this. So then the alternative would be for me to try and hunt at, like I said, 86. And that's something that I will do in the Discord. Now, it's very simple for you to join in on my Discord and trade with me if you want. All you need to do is open your own Bybit account. Simple as that. Make sure you have the crypto EMC code in there because it gives you additional benefits. If you take that information, you head over to the Discord, you go to the navigation channel, and you click on the partners button. So I've made it so that it's very simple. You can just click on the button, go to the partners, go to the Bybit partnership. You type in your Bybit user ID here, and the Bybit bot will give you all the roles required for you to join and participate in the public trade chat. It will also allow you to get the buddy indicator. So if you miss out on moves like this, you feel like you're missing out, the buddy indicator is designed to just do that, to try and keep you in the right mindset of what is happening in the market. Now, at the moment, as the breakout was occurring, the buddy indicator gave you the SO3 strategy, which is a simple, it's actually the same thing as the SO2, just works with a little bit more momentum. So if I switch off all the TA that I just shared with you guys, everything that I just shared, I'm just going to switch it off and just show you the buddy. There was the buy. So even if you don't have me on YouTube or anything like that, there the buddy gave you the buy already. It's using the stuff I use to trade. That's what the indicator is there. It uses the stuff that I did, and it will be giving you your TP1 already at 88, TP2 at 89, and TP3 at 90. So you would be in the long already. So the buddy indicator would have done that for you. And additional stuff that makes us really bullish at the moment, why I won't necessarily scalp short. We're getting all these high momentum tags. So basically what the indicator is doing is it scans 64 processes in the market. And then there's certain aspects of those things that decides whether it is bullish, lateral, or kangaroo market, or bearish. And when they all line up, all the oscillators, all the various indicators and tools and strategies built in lines up with being bullish, it throws a little tag on the candle. So you're sitting in an environment where everything is pointing to more upside. And that's a really good place to be. So that's it. And that's what the buddy indicator does. In addition to this, if you're new to trading, you're a beginner, you're still struggling to find your feet, the buddy indicator comes with a trade guide, which is a questionnaire that you take before you place any trades, meaning you're asking yourself, what kind of environment are you trading? So on the 4 hour, what are we doing at the moment? We're trading something that is light blue. So we are in an accumulation phase. If you don't know, you can learn more. You can read up on it because it's coloring the candles for you. It does the work for you. So it tells you what we're doing. Prices was within a narrow range. Volume will increase if it starts moving and. So if we're in a lateral range, okay, it means that's the button you need to do. Then it asks you what kind of environment emotionally are you in at the moment. So if you're looking at this, the kind of emotion that we would be that of greed. So people would be entering the market now, and they were looking for price to continue on higher. Okay, and this is now for where we're at this moment. So when you go back to this, you would say, well, we're in an emotion of greed. If you want to read up a little bit more on how I classify between the fear, greed, and complacency, you're more than welcome to do that. And then it's saying these markets move in a random fashion. Most traders wreck themselves here trying to make reason out of chaos. Trade probabilities are low as these conditions always occur once price approaches the middle of a range. So we're probably in an area where for the buddy indicator, it says do not trade. Okay, so I'm saying 15-minute scalp. Buddy says where we're at right now on this time frame, it's not a trade. It's as simple as that. So it tells you, it keeps you away from trying to get in. So you took the entry when it was there supposed to be, and where it's at now, there's nothing. Now you can always change the time frame and change the narrative for yourself around, but you can see that the indicator functions in a similar way. So although I might be personally on a personal note trying to be greedy, the indicator is saying, Rudo, you should not be taking the trade you just shared. In short. Okay, so it's your trade friend. It helps you navigate the emotions. It helps you navigate everything, and it's for free. All you need to do is just support the content. I support what I'm trying to do with this crypto channel, and in short, I will reward you with access to that. As simple as that. Okay, thanks so much for taking the time, guys. So hopefully tomorrow and the day after, we'll have a little bit more information. So we'll be able to use Bitcoin, and let's switch off the buddy real quick. We'll be able to look at this bigger picture that we have, and we can really start building, in all fairness, a realistic uptrend, because at the moment we don't have anything. We've merely made a higher high. It's like a tickle of a higher high. So I still need to see the wave complete. Once the wave is complete, we'll be able to then clearly identify where our next entry would be, and then when our next swing long would be, because from the justice, the long story short is all the setups that we've had, the predominant energy behind this was for us to go short. And now what's going to happen is that this long is now leading. So going forward, we will probably now be favoriting longs and not so much the shorts anymore. It's as simple as that. Okay, that's it. Thanks so much, guys. Okay, let's head over to comments and see if there's anything. Right, so those kind of analysis, when we're going to be looking at larger time frame, speculative stuff, that's going to be this afternoon's HODL stream. We're going to be looking at all this to see whether this is going to really be an alt season for Bitcoin. You know, there's Bitcoin, there's dominance. And we're going to be looking at all the stuff. This in the morning, these streams, I look at Bitcoin, I look at trading, and I don't do any requests at this stage. But you're more than welcome to reply to this stream with potential coins or anything that you would want me to have a look at, so that I can see if there's anything worth including into our stream for this afternoon. Okay, let's see what else we have. Okay, so now you know how to get the buddy indicator. I think I've answered you that very nicely. And then let's see what else. Lami Lackerman. Thanks for joining, guys. Thanks for taking the time. You guys have a lovely day. Maybe let's look at this 92K short incoming. No, the thing is, if I can be honest with you, remember the bigger analysis. If we're in a situation where the bigger analysis is to play out, we all know that, you know, our expiry for the bull market, and Bitcoin has been bull, alts have been horrendous, but the expiry is somewhere near the end. So because we are in a situation where the weekly now is turning bullish, we've got a higher high. My energy for shorting, or my appetite for going short, is almost going to be gone. Because until we get a higher time frame divergence, meaning price goes higher and the RSI stays lower, which it will probably do this time around. Until that, I'm not thinking short. I'm thinking longer term longs. It's the safer, better play. Trade in harmony with the trend. The guy that wanted to short that made that little bit of money if he got the trade perfectly. The guy that shorted that made that little bit of money if he traded the trade perfectly. And I mean, there's enough evidence that, you know, I'm not talking shit here. I mean, if you look at the setups that I've shared in the last 3 years with you guys, there's all the major setups where we went out, where we got in, and then even the ones that we missed. I mean, I missed that buy zone there. It's as simple as that. So the market can run away from you. So I've done enough, I think, to prove to you guys that statistically, if we trade in harmony with the trend, it's the better play to take. So I won't necessarily want to try and short that unless we get the Hail Mary of bearish divergences or something like that. Then at that stage, I might recant and say, okay, well, you know what? It's not about being right. It's about making money. But for now, the idea is I don't want to short anything. Okay. Hope that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, let's see. So make sure to tune in for this afternoon stream. We're going to be looking at altcoins. We're going to be looking at Ethereum. We're going to be looking at Solana. We're going to be looking at a lot of these coins to see what is cooking, because I have not shared any real buy zones with you guys. So we're not celebrating that I said we need to buy right there. We're going to be looking at what now, if they do get their first higher high, where should we be looking to buy? Because we want to make sure that we're not in a situation where Bitcoin is rallying and Solana still needs to go back down to 34. You know, it's over. You know, you don't want to buy here and then Bitcoin fails, doesn't hold on support and dumps again, because then you're in this. I don't want to do that to you guys. I don't want to do that to my own bags. So that's the thing. That's why I'm not celebrating this long that it's playing out in a situation that I am the genius at now 120. I'm not saying any of that. It points to it, but there's still the danger. Until the trend establishes, this is still just a dream. Okay. And I want to talk to you guys about that this afternoon. So have a lovely day. Have a lovely morning. And I'll see you later on in the HODL guide. Okay, cheers, guys.